Those worked well. You can't underestimate the amount of time you need to spend on this kind of marketing, but it generated interest and an initial client list. Anyway, my advice to anyone starting out would be if you've got a sound business model and you see a gap in the market, go for it.
Well, could you hear just, there's adverbs and of course, could you hear any adjectives or no?
Mm,
So
any
very
adjective?
completely, absolute. Could you hear it as adverbs? Because
Yeah, sometimes, but
frick.
yeah, but I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I didn't remember
of course I can.
exactly.
Yeah, of course
Yeah,
I can make it easier for you, but of course I don't want because it's like, yeah, I
yeah,
can just play the extract so you can easily but find the
yeah.
answer. But it's better to, try to
Mm,
figure out and, get some details from the whole
mm,
audio. So here, uh, completely outrageous. Do you remember? So it was outrageous. So let me do
yeah,
something. Okay, just listen to the extract and try to write this adjective
yeah.
again. Okay, listen.
9.2. 1. Did you know that a pair of glasses that cost, say, €15 to make can sell for as much as €150? It's completely outrageous.
So completely outrageous.
2.
Two.
Outrageous. Yeah,
I researched the optical market. Good market research is very important when you're starting out.
very important.
3.
Yes.
My parents were absolutely fantastic. They gave me a loan to get started.
Absolutely
4.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The other people who were extremely helpful were some of my fellow students who designed and set up the website for me.
Helpful.
5.
Extremely
Yeah.
helpful.
Helpful. Perfect.
It was incredibly difficult to persuade them, but in the end, we
Difficult.
managed to get them on board. 6. We looked at renting empty shops on high streets, but the rents in most places were totally ridiculous.
The regular.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
but
Ridiculous.
I
Yeah.
don't know that word.
Of course,
Can
I
you
will
explain?
write for you. Ridiculous.
Uh,
Ridiculous. Yeah. Just, when something
uh,
is funny, but it's not in a
can you
good way. Yeah.
explain about the meaning of that word?
Of course, the meaning of the word ridiculous, it's like, when something is funny, but it's not in a good way. So you say that this is ridiculous. It's like, for example, it's not funny. People like that, okay, it's funny. It's, for example, it's good, but actually it's not. So this is the
Mm,
meaning of ridiculous. For
mm,
example, someone's behavior can be ridiculous. And what is that? It's like, for example, okay, it's funny. It's, for example, good, but actually it's not. It's too much, you know?
mm. Yeah, yeah.
Well, so it's totally ridiculous. Actually, as you can see, we have some gradable and non-gradable adverbs here. So, or let's
Mm,
talk about them. That is really good to know this actually. Uh,
mm,
Adjectives, sorry, like good or for example, perfect. So we can grade the degree. Okay, so let's talk about them.
mm,
And now, okay, the first one, first talk about gradable. Um,
mm,
if I want to give you like most frequently and gradable adverbs, like adverbs and adjective. Okay, so that is, we have two different. So like, do you know that?
yeah.
For example, when I say very, very is gradable. It means to a high degree of something. When I say really, again, like truly to a high degree. So very, really, extremely, all of them are adverbs and gradable adverbs. Quiet, fairly, somewhat, a bit different. So everything that at every adverb. Like, actually, we have a list of them. So, like, really, very, extremely, quiet, somewhat, okay? A bit,
Yeah.
so different. They add a degree to my adjective. So, higher or
Yeah.
lower. So this is the meaning of gradable. For example, when I say very tired, so tired, really interesting. So I'm adding a degree here. Okay. So it's like the high or no, sometimes low degree. But we have, on the other hand, we have non-gradable. Okay. So what is that? For example, the word like completely. Absolutely, totally. Okay. So, what is the meaning of them and what's the difference? These adverbs that are called non-gradable, okay? They are like extreme or absolute adjectives. So, what is that?
Yeah.
These adjectives, or adverbs, of course, you know that, for example, incredible is adjective. Total, for example, is absolute, or for example, extreme. Okay, but now we have ly, that is adverb. Okay, so actually they are used to extreme or absolute quality. So for example, I can't say it's very freezing because freezing is extreme. I can't add very. I don't need. For example, I say when we have non-gradable, like for example, completely, okay, or absolutely, perfectly, literally, okay? For example, this idea is absolutely ridiculous. Okay? That is actually, this is absolute or extreme degree of something. So that is different. Okay, here, as you can see, which adverbs are used with gradable adjectives? So, such as good. So, for example, very is gradable. What is that? It means I can add, good is gradable. So it means I can add very. When it's non-gradable, it means no very, no really, no, for example, I don't know, quiet, fairly. I can't add these adverbs. So they are non-gradable because actually they are extreme. So, for example, about the first one, do you remember which adverbs are used with gradable adjectives such as good? Do you remember?
Sorry, can you
No. Do
say it
you
again?
remember? So, which adverb are used with gradable adjectives? So we had, do you remember some answers here? Completely, very,
Yeah.
absolutely, extremely. Do you remember, for example, uh, with good, very good, right? So, and do you
Yeah.
remember any other?
Other words? No,
Yeah,
not.
other adjective.
Mm.
Very,
Um.
extremely, incredibly. Okay. So,
Yeah.
do you remember, for example,
Mm. Excellent.
yeah, sorry.
Ex- Excellent.
Ex-
Perfect.
yeah, excellent, you mean. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent.
Well, okay, yeah, but let's talk about this exercise, this one that we just finished. Okay. So we add some adjectives here. For example, completely outrageous, very important. So,
Yeah.
which adverbs are
Uh,
used? So in X, this one, eight, okay?
oh, yeah,
Which
yeah, yeah,
adverbs, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
are used with gradable?
Good. I think it's a fantastic and fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Like, how about extremely? And
Yeah, I think
extremely what?
yeah.
Extremely what? You tell me, extremely what? Tell me the adjective that we use for extremely.
Uh, in
Cool.
this situation, yeah, Yeah.
Extremely helpful. So
Yeah.
actually, this is
Extremely helpful.
gradable. I can add a degree. Very, extremely, I can. Very
Yeah.
helpful, extremely. Or
Yeah.
another one, we have incredibly. Incredibly what?
Difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult.
So I can say very difficult. I can say really difficult. I can say extremely. So as you can
Yeah.
see, difficult is gradable.
Yeah.
But some adjectives, okay, are non-gradable or ungradable. Okay, like perfect. I can't say very perfect. Definitely no. Perfect is non-gradable. Actually, that is a high degree. So I don't need to add very to make it higher. So this
Yeah.
now about this one, let's see what adjectives, okay, we have here. We have completely, completely what?
Mm, completely.
Completely outrageous. So,
Yeah.
outrageous is ungradable. It means I can't say very. When I have
Yeah.
ungradable or non-gradable adjectives, I
Yeah.
don't use very, really, okay? I can't. But I can use, for example, some other like totally, like
Mm,
completely, okay? So they
mm,
are better adverbs for these type of, so
mm,
absolutely, completely, totally. They
mm,
come with, they come with
mm,
ungradable or non-gradable because I want to
mm.
add a degree. So let me give you.
Yeah.
We have, let me type it here. Okay, I need more. Okay, well, adverbs like very, really, a bit, extremely, or quite, uh, and so of course, so, to, totally can be. Totally different, for example. Totally can be used for both of them, totally. Okay? So these adverbs are used with gradable. So, like,
Mm,
we can say gradable. For example, very
mm,
tired, extremely difficult, or quite nice, very nice. So actually, I can make them higher. So we can say they are gradable adverbs. Okay. Now we have another. Okay. For example, when I say I'm a bit sick today, not very, a bit, a little. So gradable. Okay. Now we have non-gradable. What is that?
mm,
Like absolutely. Absolute is the highest degree. So I don't need to say, okay, for example, when something is impossible, I can't
mm,
say it's very impossible. What is this? Very impossible? No. It's
mm,
absolutely. When something is perfect, I can say it's very perfect. It's
mm.
absolutely perfect. Now,
Yeah.
sometimes really can be used for both. For example, oh, it's really good. So it's okay. Really perfect. Sometimes we can use really for ungradable. So absolutely, completely or totally can be used, as I told you, for both of them. So it's good.
Yeah.
And entirely, fully, for example, entirely false. It's entirely different. Entirely, that means fully, completely, perfectly, perfectly. And we have another one. Virtually can be. Yeah, what is that? It means almost entirely, not completely. So entirely and virtually can be somehow the same synonym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so this is almost entirely, but not fully, not completely. So it's virtually. For example, it's virtually impossible, not
No.
completely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see that the mode of unreadable
Yeah.
adverb
Yeah.
that mean it it more than 80%
Of course.
yeah, and more,
Of
right?
course. Of course.
Yeah.
You know, as I told you, when is ungradable, it's actually strong,
Mm.
really
Yeah.
strong. So you don't need to add very to make it strong. You know,
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
normal, I have a normal adjective. Now, when I
Yeah.
add very, I make it stronger, higher degree. So, but
Yeah.
some of them don't need. And we
Yeah.
have, actually, you may, heard this adverb a lot, literally, because we use
Yeah.
it a lot, and most of people don't know the meaning of it. What is the
Mm.
meaning of literally?
Yeah.
This one is really, really, so I can say one of the most commonly used adverbs, but it's like when something actually, when we want to emphasize,
Mm.
emphasize on something, an adjective, we use literally. For example, oh, here it's literally silent. Fully, just it's like exactly, exactly silent. Or for example, oh, I'm literally freezing. Exactly freezing. Literally, exactly. So this one is another one. As I told you, so we use something, for example, very clear. No, it's not good to say very clear. I say your explanation is perfectly clear. If I say very clear is understandable, but, or for example, oh, the bottle is entirely full, fully full, completely
Mm.
full. So
Mm.
this way,
Mm.
I don't need to say very full. What is this? I can't say very full because it's not gradable. Actually, it's strong, full of
Mm.
something. So
Mm.
this is the meaning of um, gradable and non-gradable. If I want to give you
Yeah.
a tip, I say gradable adverbs come with just, adjectives like cold, tired, happy. So you can
Mm.
use. But when it's non-gradable, when say
Mm.
freezing, strong adjective, freezing, exhausted means very tired. Because of this, I can't say very exhausted. Because
Mm.
actually exhausted means very tired. So this is
Yeah.
high degree of, tiredness. So this is the way that you can use these adverbs. Okay. Do you have any
Mm.
questions?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Oh,
It
okay. Yeah.
a little bit hard to remember.
You
Uh,
don't need to. Let me say
yeah.
something. Most of the time,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't need to memorize,
Yeah.
is actually why? Because when you talk, it's something that because of this, we learn by listening. What is that?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard someone said it's really impossible? Or it's very impossible? Have you ever heard? No. Definitely no.
Yeah.
It's not something that we use. So you don't hear. And let me say something about these adverbs. We don't use
Mm.
all them. For example,
Yeah.
they are so normal. So we use them
Yeah.
really very extremely quiet, so pretty. So we use, but about them,
Yeah.
virtually, it's so formal. Okay,
Yeah.
totally is very good. Completely is very good. Literally,
Yeah.
very common. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, we know when,
Yeah.
and we don't need. So, as I told you, when an adjective is strong, okay,
Yeah.
just use this column.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the totally it can be used in gradable and ungradable.
yeah,
So how to find the difference from in that mean in some situation it may be gradable
yeah,
and some situation it can
yeah.
be in ungradable. So
Okay,
how to find the difference or how
okay,
to yeah. Yeah.
okay. Well, so let me ask you. Let me give you a good tip. How to know something is gradable or non-gradable. You can
Yeah.
ask questions. For example, If you can answer these questions, it means they're gradable. For example, I say cold. Okay, cold. I don't know. Can I answer the question like how cold? Yes, how cold? Very cold. I can answer this. When I say tired, can I say how tired? Can I answer it? How tired? Yes. So it means I can add a degree. There are a list. For example, cold, tired, happy, difficult, small, maybe a few, just easy, beautiful. They are gradable. Now we have another, okay, that is non-gradable. How to know that an adjective is non-gradable? So we can't. First, we have a list again. So it's like, for example, some. You cannot use them with adverbs like very and bit. Why? Because the meaning of them is the highest or lowest point. For example, when I say freezing, freezing means extremely or very cold, right? Now, can I add very to freezing? It means very cold. So I can say very, very cold. I don't need. Boiling, very hot. Hot is okay. Can I say how hot? Yes, because you can say very, a little, yeah? But can I say boiling? Boiling is the highest degree, means very hot, extremely hot. Can I add very, very boiling? No. So starving, the meaning is very hungry. So why I need to use very? Definitely no, I can't. So if I can say very, if I can say a bit, so very, a bit, quiet, can't be used with non-gradable. Okay, so I should use, for example, for freezing, I should use one of them. Absolutely, completely. Okay, so gradable. I want to give you a list. Gradable, cold, non-gradable. Let me type it. I forget what I'm saying. Just, don't forget that, just about taking screenshot so you can have it because I normally forget. So gradable and non-gradable or ungradable, both of them. Okay, so gradable. For example, cold is gradable, but freezing, no. Hot is gradable, but boiling, no. Tired. Of course, I can say very tired. I'm very tired, but I can't say I'm very exhausted. Exhausted is not. Okay, exhausted. We have hungry. I just talked. Okay, but starving, very hungry. I'm starving means I'm very hungry. I'm scared. I'm really scared. It's okay. But when I say I'm terrified, means I'm very scared. So I can't. I'm happy. I'm very happy. They're normal adjectives. But when I say I'm thrilled, very happy, means all these adjectives means very with these adjectives. Okay? So we don't need. I say big. It's very big. But when I say enormous, no. Because enormous means very big. So I don't say very hard.
How about the hill?
What?
Hill.
Hill?
Big.
Huge. You mean huge. Of course, huge. You can't say it's
yeah.
very huge because huge means very big. So you can't say very huge. Yeah, of course.
But
Hard.
it's gradable or non-gradable.
Yeah, of course. This non-gradable because you can't say it's very huge. What is this? It's absolutely huge. It's good. But it's very huge. Huge means very big. And you have hard. It's very hard. But when you say something is impossible, for example, impossible. It's not. Okay, so you can say. And something is clean. Okay, very clean. It's okay. But when, oh, we should, oh, so spotless, very clean. So you don't miss. Good, very good. And perfect is very good. So perfect is non-gradable. They're the list.
Yeah.
So if you have the list, it's okay. Just, okay, let's log out because, yeah, we have running out of time. So let's go and back in. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's go. Wait a moment. Okay.